They found the suitcases first, two of them, sitting quietly in the left luggage office of a railway station in Bergen, Norway. Ordinary cases, the kind thousands of travelers carried every year. Inside were wigs, several pairs of sunglasses, clothing with all the labels carefully removed, and a small notebook filled with coded entries, letters and numbers written in neat, deliberate handwriting. No name, no address, no explanation. At first, the luggage seemed like a curiosity, a strange but minor discovery. But days earlier, in a remote valley miles away, hikers had found the burned body of a woman lying among rocks. And when investigators connected the suitcases to the woman in the valley, the case became something else entirely, because whoever she was, she had been trying very hard not to be known. In the autumn of 1970, Bergen was a quiet coastal city wrapped in mist and sea air. Ships moved slowly in the harbour, and the surrounding mountains stood dark and green under low clouds. Travellers passed through the railway station every day, students, businessmen, tourists, people moving between cities, rarely noticed, rarely remembered. Among them was a woman who kept mostly to herself. Hotel staff would later recall her as well-dressed, polite and reserved. She spoke several languages, but rarely revealed where she was from. Sometimes she paid in cash. Sometimes she changed rooms unexpectedly. She carried herself with purpose, but also with caution, as if she were always aware of being observed. In hotel registers, she wrote different names, different nationalities, and yet in quiet moments, staff remembered small details that felt ordinary. The way she folded her clothes carefully, the way she sat by windows, the way she watched people in silence. There was nothing overtly dramatic about her presence. She was simply there, a traveller passing through, like so many others. Until on November 29, 1970, two young girls walking in the Isdal Valley noticed something strange among the rocks. At first, they thought it was debris from a fire. Then they realized it was a body. The valley was silent that day, the air cold and still. Investigators arriving at the scene found the body of a woman lying on her back. She had been badly burned. Around her were items that had also been partially burned: clothing, an umbrella, fragments of personal belongings. There was a strong smell of gasoline, but there was no clear sign of how the fire had started, and there was something else. Despite the damage, it was clear that every label on her clothing had been removed. Every possible mark that might identify where the items were made had been carefully cut away. The absence felt deliberate. As investigators searched the area, they found no identification, no passport, no documents, only silence. The discovery of the suitcases days later added another layer to the mystery. Inside were more clothes, more wigs, more items with labels removed. There were maps, a notebook containing coded entries that appeared to record travel dates and locations. Investigators began retracing her movements. She had traveled through multiple European cities in the months before her death. She checked into hotels under different names, often staying only a few days. Witnesses recalled seeing her changing her appearance, different hairstyles, different clothing, almost as if she were trying not to be recognized. And yet no one could say who she really was. At first, investigators believed the case might be straightforward. They considered the possibility of suicide. The burned belongings, the isolation of the valley, the gasoline, all of it seemed to suggest a person who had gone into the wilderness to end her life. It was a theory that fit some of the evidence, but the more investigators looked, the more the explanation began to unravel. Autopsy results showed the presence of sleeping pills in her system, but also bruising that suggested she had been alive during the fire. There were indications she may not have acted alone, or at least not willingly. And then there were the coded notes. If she had intended to end her life, why keep such detailed records of her travels? Why maintain multiple identities? Why move so carefully, so deliberately from place to place? The theory that once seemed plausible began to feel incomplete. Over time, several theories emerged, each attempting to explain parts of the mystery, but never all of it. One possibility is that she was involved in espionage. The Cold War was at its height in 1970. Norway, with its proximity to Soviet territory and its strategic military installations, was a place where intelligence activity was not uncommon. Witnesses reported that the woman sometimes watched ships in the harbor or observed military areas from a distance. This theory explains the false identities, the coded notebook, and the careful removal of labels, but it does not explain her death in the valley. If she had been a spy, why end her life or be killed in such a public and chaotic way? Another theory suggests she was simply a traveler, living under assumed identities for personal reasons. Some people move through life this way, leaving behind past relationships or escaping circumstances they cannot return to. This explanation accounts for the hotels, the aliases, the movement across borders, but it does not explain the coded notes, the wigs, or the extraordinary care taken to erase every identifying detail. And then there is the most unsettling possibility, that she was neither a spy nor an ordinary traveler, but someone caught in a situation we still cannot fully see. Someone meeting people whose names were never recorded. Someone moving through cities with a purpose, never written down. Someone who, in the end, died alone in a valley, her identity deliberately erased. And perhaps the most haunting question is this: if she never wanted to be known, why did she leave so many clues behind? More than 50 years later, the Isdal Woman remains unidentified. Modern forensic techniques have provided new insights: facial reconstructions, isotope analysis, attempts to trace her origins through her teeth and bones. Some clues suggest she may have grown up in Central Europe, others remain inconclusive. Her face has been reconstructed, her image shared, her story retold, and still, no one has come forward who can say with certainty who she was. The valley where she was found is quiet today. Wind moves through the trees, mist drifts between the rocks. Hikers pass through, often unaware of what once happened there, but the silence of that place still holds something. Not answers, only the echo of a life lived in fragments: hotel rooms, train stations, coded notes, and suitcases filled with disguises. And somewhere, perhaps in a forgotten photograph or an unspoken memory, there may still be someone who once knew her name. But if that person exists, they have never spoken. And so the question remains, as quiet and persistent as the valley itself. Who was the woman who tried so carefully to disappear? If stories like this stay with you, if you find yourself thinking about them long after the silence returns, there are more waiting to be explored. You can follow this channel to continue uncovering true stories, real mysteries, and the echoes of events history never fully explained.